Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Share Wednesday, where the videos are a little bit longer than the other days. This is the day that I get to share some of the things that I've been through, some testimony, share the word, share some teaching. So, as indicates, these stories, these stories are just way too deep for me, like seriously. But yeah, so this video I've actually been postponing for a while. It's something really personal to me that happened. So today's Share Wednesday is all about trauma and getting into my story. For the longest time, there was just, you know, when you have a fear about a certain thing, but you don't know where this fear comes from, and this fear has been there for the longest of time, right? And there's just certain characteristics about you that they've been there, and you've kind of identified yourself with those characteristics, so much so that you feel comfortable with it, right? So yeah, guys, this is so deep. So deep. So what happened was, for the longest time, I had a trauma that I had buried. I had buried because this thing happened when I was very young. I was very young when it happened to me, and I was just so traumatized that I buried the whole experience. I buried the whole experience. And I didn't want to revisit it ever again. Little did I know that in burying that, I was building up walls around myself. And I was identifying myself with certain characteristics that I just picked up. So growing up, I was a very quiet child after that trauma. I was very quiet. I didn't have a lot of friends. I actually had like 1 or 2 friends. My brother has been my friend since we were young. I didn't have a lot of friends. I was very quiet. I didn't like confrontation at all. And at the sound of someone screaming, I would go and hide. And so many things I didn't understand why. I just wanted my own space where I just wanted to be, where I was just so afraid. Until about last year, I went to go see a therapist, right? It wasn't my idea. It wasn't my idea. Someone actually suggested to me, hey, you've been through a lot, I think you should go see a therapist. So in going to see my therapist, we had to go back in time, and we had to uncover things. But before actually uncovering these things with my therapist, God took me through a journey where He said to me, before we step into the new, there's certain things that we needed to deal with. And I was freaking out because I was like, something happened in my past, didn't it? Only to find out that something didn't happen in my past. And I speak more about this on my book. I'd rather have you read my book first, and then I will elaborate on this. But something happened in my past when I was young, and it's been such a trauma that, like I said, I identified myself with, you know, certain characteristics that God never said, this is who you are. So I labeled myself an introvert when really truly I am not an introvert at all. But because that made me comfortable and people could understand me, I identified myself with being an introvert. And it's when I started then going to therapy, starting to uncover that this introvert identity came about from that trauma. This introvert identity came about in being comfortable and in building up walls around myself, and in people actually just understanding me and accepting me as an introvert, but it's not who God called me to be. So I just want to encourage people to go back. Someone calls it the scene of the accident. To go back to the scene of the accident, because sometimes we get so stuck at the trauma, we get so stuck at the scene of the accident that we're unable to move on, because that particular scene, you get to build walls around it. And sometimes these walls in the beginning, they feel like they're safety nets for you. They take you away from a lot of trouble. But there will come a time, I know for me a time came, when these walls were toxic to me. Felt like they were squeezing the very breath out of me, because I couldn't make new friends. I couldn't confront people. I wasn't so confrontational. I just let a lot of things slide. I didn't even have boundaries. I didn't even know myself. And it's all because there was a trauma that I had not dealt with. And it's when God came in and he took me to the scene of the accident, vision by vision, like the whole thing. It's like experiencing that trauma all over again. He took me through it, but not only that, he allowed me to heal with where it's just, it was me and him, it was me and the therapist, and it was me and my family. So, and that actually has been helping me a great deal, because I've realized that I'm not that person, and those walls that I had built were actually starting to strangle me. So trauma shows itself in different ways. It shows itself in rejection, it shows itself in fear, it shows itself in being not wanting to be confrontational, in so many ways. And I wanted to share this with you, because I want you to step in to the new that God is calling you. And the Bible does say that in order for the new to come in, the old has to go. There's certain seasons you cannot take old things with you. Doesn't matter if in that old season those things were protecting you, because in the new season those very walls could be toxic to you. So I know this conversation is not easy, and I know that we need support, because support is needed. But do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to deal with the trauma, because new and wonderful things will spring out forth. So we'll let you know more about my book, but for now, this is just how much I want to share with you about trauma, and then we'll talk more about it when you have the book. Until then, I'll see you. Bye.